Now at 5, the weather emergencies that kept local crews busy. Plus, storm damage across Joplin as tree crews working overtime. What you need to know as cleanup continues. And
the U.S. economy shrinks as businesses and consumers react to President Trump's trade policy. I'm Erica Brown at the White House with how the Trump administration is responding.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
As more rain comes in the wake of yesterday's flooding, authorities stress a familiar warning: turn around, don't drown. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Pittsburgh Fire Chief says emergency crews were busy during yesterday's weather. The Pittsburgh Police Department responded to 22 calls. The Crawford County Sheriff's Office assisted with another 11 calls. These calls included disabled or stranded vehicles in the floodwaters, accidents, a tree falling on a house, and animal welfare checks. He says a large toppled tree also pulled down power lines in Pittsburgh. Now, with more rain in the forecast, he urges people to be mindful of the potential for more flooding.
Be aware, if you're leaving for work, leave a little bit early in case you have to detour. You don't want to drive through the deep water. You don't want to drive through flowing water. Turn around and find another route. And as always, be on the lookout for emergency vehicles.
CERN says there were no major injuries. Although the storms that swept through yesterday have now passed, their impact is still clearly visible across the region. Lawns throughout Joplin are littered with broken branches and downed trees. Local tree service companies say they're receiving double the usual number of calls from 4-state residents. And they're urging the community to stay patient as crews work longer hours to clean up.
The problem that we're having is it's getting hard to get to everybody in time because we're getting so much rain, we can't get into yards. We're trying to preach patience because we're overwhelmed.
We've been super busy, storm after storm. We've had a lot of trees cleanup that's been landed on everybody's yards and on their houses and stuff.
Some experts say one of the biggest headaches they're having now is working with insurance companies. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, of course, we got more showers, thunderstorms for us today, and we are going to continue to see some rain chances, at least in the forecast as we go through the next couple days, but we're not going to see the heavy stretches that we've seen over the past few days. Just over the past 24 hours on average, 1 to about 3 inches. Neosho 2.5. In Miami, you can see some 3s, some 4s out there. So again, heavy amounts of rain. Flood watch still in effect tonight, where you see the darker greens. This is showing us flood warnings across the region just due to the extreme rain. Showers, thunderstorms continuing to press across southwestern Missouri, so we still have persistent rain from Mount Vernon, Monette to Cassville down toward Beaver Lake, but we get a little bit of a break later on tonight. Still, we're going to get a few random showers, but things start to calm down. Not out of the woods yet. We'll talk about that here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you then. President Trump is hosting an event at the White House today that focuses on the economic success during his first 100 days in office. But a new report on the gross domestic product, which measures the total value of goods and services produced within the country, shows America's economy is going in the wrong direction. Erica Brown has more details from the White House.
The markets dropped Wednesday in response to the news that U.S. economic growth slowed sharply this year.
And that's Biden. That's not Trump.
President Trump dismissed the government data showing the gross domestic product contracted in the first quarter of 2025, its worst performance in 3 years.
We came in on January 20th. So this is Biden. And you could even say the next quarter is sort of Biden.
The GDP number was driven in part by a surge of imports as companies raced to get products before Trump's sweeping tariffs went into effect.
All of these games come.
Game store owner Miriam Al-Hamami told CBS News that she stockpiled enough toys and games to get her through at least September.
You sound like a hoarder.
I feel like a hoarder. If you've seen my stores, you would see the hoarding in the back rooms.
The Trump administration says the GDP numbers show momentum from job growth and trillions of dollars in new investments in America. And President Trump invited the CEOs of companies that are now spending money on U.S. manufacturing to the White House.
I heard Samsung is now, because of the tariffs, they're going to build massive facilities in the United States. If we didn't do the tariffs, they wouldn't be doing that.
The president is able to impose tariffs after declaring the deficit with U.S. trade partners a national emergency. The Senate is voting on a bill today to terminate the emergency declaration, which would nullify the tariffs.
Donald Trump inherited the strongest economy in the world, not a perfect one, but the strongest, and it's just taken him 100 days to crash it.
Kentucky Republican Rand Paul, who has been an outspoken critic of the tariffs, is a co-sponsor of the bill. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
The White House on Monday threatened to veto the resolution if it passed, saying the legislation would undermine national and economic security. Still ahead, a new procedure is helping young athletes recover faster and stronger from ACL injuries. We're going to show you how it works next. Also coming up in Health Watch, new data shows a major drop in breast cancer deaths. What's driving the decline? Topping today's Health Watch, deaths from breast cancer have fallen significantly in recent years. Research presented by the American Academy for Cancer Research showed between 2010 and 2020, breast cancer deaths among women ages 20 to 49 dropped from nearly 10 in 100,000 women to closer to 1 in 100,000. Better treatments and greater access to care and screenings are the reasons for the decline. More and more young people are tearing their ACLs, and an innovative procedure is now approved for use in the youngest patients. Dr. Malika Marshall explains why this could become the surgery of choice for student athletes of all ages.
At 16, during a Final Four football game, Johnny Sullivan went in for a tackle.
My knee kind of bent and I just felt the pop.
That pop came from the anterior cruciate ligament in his knee. The star athlete had torn his ACL. To repair an ACL, surgeons typically borrow tissue from another part of the body, like a hamstring or a quadriceps tendon, to reconstruct the ligament.
Traditional ACL reconstructions can be quite painful. They have a relatively high failure rate, and student athletes can't always return to the same level of performance.
The bridge-enhanced ACL restoration, or BARE procedure, has become a more attractive option for some. The ligament is repaired, and then this collagen implant that looks like a marshmallow, bathed in the patient's own blood, is inserted into the knee to help the ligament heal.
We get this blood clot, then we get the body that creates the healing response, and then you get a healed ACL, which is really amazing because now we're keeping your own nerves, your own blood vessels.
Massachusetts-based orthopedic surgeon Dr. Scott Sigmund has performed more BARE procedures than almost anyone in the world. The surgery was FDA approved in 2020 for people 14 and older, but now it's available to school-age kids as young as 7 and 8 who are increasingly injuring their ACLs.
We have these really cool new anchors that are not made out of metal, so literally we don't have to touch the growth plates. In the past, if you injured a growth plate, the leg could actually grow wrong.
15 months post-BARE, Johnny says his knee is not only restored to the way it was, it may even be better.
So would you say that you're back to being one of the top players on your basketball and football teams?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
And back to dreaming about playing at the college level. Dr. Malika Marshall, CBS News, North Chelmsford, Massachusetts.
The hope is to one day use this BARE technique for other orthopedic injuries like rotator cuff tears or Achilles tendon ruptures. It's easier to treat depression in teenagers compared to adults. A study by the University of Edinburgh said targeting depression at an early age is key because young minds are more flexible and the symptoms of depression aren't ingrained yet. Adults with depression tend to be more resistant to treatment options. More and more people are using popular weight loss drugs, but there are disparities in how they're given out. A study published in JAMA found socially disadvantaged people, people of color, and those living in rural areas are less likely to be prescribed weight loss drugs. The study says more needs to be done to make sure access is equal for everyone. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our Pet Vet on Call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to give you some ideas on how to keep geese out of your pond.
And most of the heavy rain is out of here, but we still have more showers in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be another wet one for us today across the region, but the heaviest rain is starting to shift out of the region, which is good news. Any severe weather mainly staying central parts of Arkansas down through south central parts of Arkansas, which is good. But we had another big batch of showers and thunderstorms rotating through today. You can see the heavier rain kind of being picked up with the yellows and the oranges now, southwestern Missouri, northern parts of Arkansas. But heading away from us, still some showers from Cassville, Monette up toward Mount Vernon. But again, heading away from us, which is definitely good news. Now, we still have the upper level storm we have to deal with. Have a little surface low here, upper level system back toward the west, and that will give us kind of hit and miss showers as we go through the next couple days, but rain chances much lower over the next 36 hours. Let's go through time as we go through the evening. A couple little hit and miss guys, but most of us a much drier trend. A few scattered thunderstorms trying to get in here by morning, not a big deal. We get some sunshine tomorrow. We are still going to have a few hit and miss isolated little thunderstorms out there, but Thursday looking much better. Temps into the mid 70s during the afternoon. As we go into Thursday night, here comes another wave. Not quite as heavy, but fairly widespread. Showers and thunderstorms Thursday night into Friday morning. So we'll start Friday with showers and some thunderstorms, and then they'll move out as we go through the day. But we are going to see a few additional pop-up ones as we get into Friday evening. So looking better overall. Additional rainfall over the next couple days. Again, it's going to be very scattered, but I'd say most of us, 1/10 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch in spots, which is looking better. Look at our rain stats. So today, over an inch. Look at this for the month. Last day of the month, almost 10 inches of rain in April, which is pretty crazy for the year. So prior to April, we only had about 4.5 inches of rain. So we're actually above normal by almost 2 inches of rain. Going outside, nice shot. Indigo sky, casino and resort, cloudy sky still. Some of the roadways on the wet side, and the winds have picked up. This is what we kind of call a wind dump or a system dump on the backside of this area of low pressure. The winds there's kind of a downburst, so that's why we're getting briefly sustained winds 20 to 25, and briefly we're getting some gusts, which are kind of up in that 30, 40, even 45 mile per hour range. Those are going to come down pretty quickly. Through the evening, kind of hang out near 60 degrees, your day planner for you on your Thursday, 59 in the morning as the winds come down. We may get a little bit of patchy fog, 70 by noon, high temp, 70, let's go about 75, 76 degrees during the afternoon. So things are looking better. Let's go down the road just a bit. So here's this system that is pushing through, and then here's this back wave, which is going to start to work in as we go into Friday, and that will give us a few showers. But I promise things look a lot better as we go toward the weekend. 76 on your Thursday, 70 on Friday, morning thunderstorms. Saturday looks great. Sunday looks great. Monday, Tuesday, really into Wednesday before some scattered thunderstorms get in here late next week.
Yeah, that does look considerably better for several consecutive days.
It really does.
And we're going to need it. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, tariffs on Chinese imports could lead to empty shelves across the U.S. We're going to show you why supply chains are already feeling the impact. Topping today's Consumer Watch, President Trump's trade war is affecting America's ports. Container shipment bookings are down nearly 50% from a year ago. And as reporter Carter Evans tells us, shoppers might see some empty shelves in the coming weeks.
The Port of Los Angeles is the busiest in the Western Hemisphere, but now it's preparing for a dramatic slowdown, according to Executive Director Gene Soroka.
What do you anticipate happening over the next couple of weeks?
In 2 weeks' time, Carter, we'll see a drop on our import side of the business by about 1/3. It could be as much as 40% the week to follow. Most American importers are saying that they're stopping shipments out of China because they simply weren't going to pay 2.5 times the cost of the goods.
With a 145% tariff, a container of Chinese goods worth $100,000 will now cost importers an extra $145,000.
With information coming out of Washington seemingly by the hour, it's tough to get a line of sight on what's next. Inventory on hand right now in the United States will last for about 6 to 8 weeks. After that, shelves will be bare. We won't be able to buy as much online.
All of these games come from China.
At the Game Chest, owner Mariam Ahamami has been stockpiling toys and games that arrived before the tariffs.
So I'm buying what I think I'll sell between now and September.
You sound like a hoarder.
I feel like a hoarder. If you've seen my stores, you would see the hoarding in the back rooms.
80% of her merchandise comes from China, and board games are her biggest sellers.
Seems like you should be able to make a board game in the U.S.
It's true, it does look easy, but it's filled with lots and lots of different parts and pieces. And there's just not enough of manufacturing here to be able to do that successfully.
At this point, even if the tariffs are reduced significantly,
It'll still take about 10 days to 2 weeks to get these ships back in line over in China. Then it's a 2-week trip here to LA. So we're starting to cut it pretty close with respect to inventory in the US.
So we might see some empty shelves even if the tariffs are brought down in the next couple of weeks.
We're running out of time on that. And if we have fewer items to select from, that's going to put a pinch on the American buyer.
Carter Evans, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Pharmaceutical company Merck is investing $1 billion in a new plant in Delaware where it's going to make cancer drug Keytruda. The company says the facility is expected to be up and running by 2028 and will create more than 500 full-time jobs, 4,000 construction jobs. The announcement comes as President Trump has signaled plans to put tariffs on pharmaceuticals in his push to boost domestic manufacturing. General Motors is recalling nearly 600,000 Cadillac, Chevrolet, and GMC trucks and SUVs because their V8 engines can fail without warning, increasing the risk of a crash. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says manufacturing defects in the engine's components are to blame for the engine failures. The agency says it's received at least 39 reports of incidents. GM says it'll send notices to affected owners by June for free repair at a dealership. And UPS says it plans to cut around 20,000 jobs this year in order to slash costs. The layoffs are linked to the parcel company's decision to deliver fewer packages from Amazon, its biggest customer. UPS says it also plans to close more than 70 buildings by the end of June. Our Pet Vet On Call up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, scientists have found those injectable weight loss drugs. They might also help with a type of liver disease. Then on KOIM News at 6, Liberty Utilities faces a state investigation into billing practices, what it means for Missouri customers. Plus, 10 McDonald County seniors are committing to serve their country. And Pitt State Track and Field previews its trip to the MIAA Championship this weekend. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOIM News at 6. Spring rainwater isn't the only thing filling area ponds and lakes this time of year. We also see waterfowl migrating north in this spring. And that brings us to today's question for our Pet Vet On Call. I have a pond behind my house. Is there a humane way to keep Canada geese out of my yard?
Humane, sure. Easy, probably not so much. Geese do poop a lot, and they are definitely detrimental to pond quality. So to get rid of them would really be a good thing. One way to do that, an easy way to do that, is to recruit a dog. The Border Collie is the best dog for that job. They will chase those geese all day, every day, and love doing it. Plus, you get a bonus. You get the love and affection of a dog.
You know, we invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to petvet@koimtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday right here on KOIM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. Let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen this adult male Labrador Retriever, black and white, kind of like a Canada goose, I guess. The society says he's sweet, playful, and friendly. His name is Judge. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, a 9-month-old female cat named Dyson Air Wrap. We didn't name it, that is its name. The society says Dyson can, quote, suck up to your heart and leave a trail of laughter in her wake. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? I thought Dyson Airwrap was probably a vacuum cleaner, but in the newsroom they tell me it's a hair care device. You can feel free to rename the cat if you choose to.
Absolutely.
The weather.
Yeah, heaviest rain is out of here, but still some scattered showers tonight. Random one tomorrow, high 76.
Thanks for joining us. We're going to see you right back here at 6. Let's make it a great evening.